Hey everybody, welcome to a happy hour Humpday hangout here at the director's garage. And it's a post-COVID edition. Atrium. We don't have all the lights on yet. Hey, there we go. Oh, we got so much to talk about. This is my first real thing since I've been through the COVID train. Still getting the voice back, but it's pretty close. I'm probably going to be doing an episode, shooting something very soon this week. Maybe. The big problem is that the SAG Awards are Saturday, and that is my second to last big award show, and it takes a full day of prep. I'm sitting there and I'm typing into my iPad all of the notes and cues and stuff for our red carpet stuff for the SAG Awards. That's the Screen Actors Guild Awards, for those of you not familiar with the vernacular. But that kind of gets... That's going to give me a very limited amount of time to shoot something this week, but we'll try. We're going to try and get something shot, get the next episode shot. It's going to be a double unboxing. Cheers, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday. I'm almost out of this one. Don't worry, kids. We've got backups. Cheers. I got this one, too. Look at this. This is a Grammy tankard. Kind of cool. I picked this up at the Grammy swag station a couple years ago. Keeps the water cold. Or the whiskey, depending on what's in there. So we've got a double episode coming for 219, which is our next episode. It's going to be a double unboxing. I'm getting back into the swing of things, and I'm ready to shoot something. I'm eager to shoot something. I just got to find the time to do it. Coming up in a few minutes, get your thoughts together. I'm going to talk about a couple of new products from Noble. JH Audio filed for bankruptcy, and today we're going to do two unboxings. I'm going to unveil a couple of small things, but it'll be fun. Something to do on the live show. So get your comments going. I got to get all my windows organized, or we're going to be like, I'm going to be swimming for stuff. Okay, that's a little better. Goodness me, letting some people filter in. Yeah, COVID wasn't really fun, but then I gave it to my wife for Valentine's Day. It was my little gift to her. I'm a giver, boys. She was COVID positive. Like right about the time that I was going negative, she was getting COVID positive. She's so mad. She's like, I thought I was immune. Oh, let's take a look at how we're doing today. Let's see. Go to your channel, and then we'll do the live thing. I just want to make sure the pictures are flying through the air with good color. Skip. There we go. Yeah, look pretty good. Okay. Cheers. That's a good one. What else is going on? I'm just going to show off those two things. I forgot to read the quote from last week. I'm going to try and remember to do that at the end. It was really fun. Fun quote. Interesting. From 1962. Teaser. I'll try to pay that off by the end of this thing. And then I'm going to go cook dinner for Mrs. Director, who is still COVID positive as of today. Guys, I really did it to her. She had avoided COVID the entire time, and I got it twice. I've had it twice now, at least twice that I know of. One time I was in England covering the Queen's funeral, running all over London, and I'm sure I was COVID positive because I tested major positive when I got back to the States, and I had it for a long time. It was brutal, but I was in a mask the whole time. But that was not fun. I knew I was really sick. I just didn't want to take... If you take the test, they sideline you automatically, and with no pay. And I'm like, I'm in a strange country. I'm like, I just got to push through this thing, and whatever it was. And yeah, it turned out to be COVID by the time I got home. And I got it in Africa, of all places. Story. Every time I travel, I get something unique. I got that RSV thing when I was in Jamaica last year. I came back, I couldn't hear for like 3 or 4 weeks. It's horrible. Still doing my tinnitus stuff. I had one day this week it was really down, and I was like, oh, this is promising, and then it popped back up. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe COVID affects it too. Some new treatments and things out there. I talked about it on the last week, and I won't do it again this week. We'll give it a week or two. Let's get into a little bit of news. Noble Audio, my favorite manufacturer of IEMs, bar none, has a new product, a couple of new products just announced last month at CES, and I missed this. I'm going to go to the laptop of death. There it is. Focus coming soon. I don't have any photos yet, and I just literally texted. I've got my iPad open down here. I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4 screens, 5, 6, 7. I've got like 12 screens in front of me right now. I just added the iPad for today because I was chatting with John moments before I went on the air. But the Focus Triumph and Focus Max, and what the deal is here, and I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to really read through this, but John shared with me, these are XMEM driver. We showed you the XMEMs. I did that debut about a month and a half ago on this show of the XMEMs. I turned it around real fast in December. But this is the first true wireless XMEMs from Noble, and these are 2 of them. And this is what he says. They're XMEM drivers. The Falcon Max utilizes one-size-fits-all module that is provided industry-wide by XMEMS, the company. PCB dynamic driver, all in a capsule that in theory can be purchased by any company and placed in a housing. So this is just the Falcon Max, and then they've got the Triumph. So that's kind of like a one-size-fits-all. You're going to see a lot of those, is what I'm reading through the through the tea leaves here. You're going to see a lot of these because it's a plug-and-play module. All the companies are going to do is build a housing, slap the XMEMS driver in it, and sell it as is. And that's the Falcon, which is that's the entry line, has typically been the entry line for Noble in their wireless, true wireless stuff. And then the next one is the Triumph. That is an all built in-house by Noble, not an instant fit, one type fits all product. So that's coming. That's going to be a higher end. That's going to be a higher end IEM, true wireless IEM. I also saw that Sennheiser debuted their Momentum True Wireless 4. Do I have that somewhere? Is that on Audio 46 maybe? Let's see. Stand by. Let's go back to the laptop for a second. Let's see what's here. Sennheiser, no, let's see, shop by brand. Let's see what Sennheiser's got going on. Do they have it even listed here yet? It doesn't look like it is. True Wireless 3 is there. They did announce them. There it is. $299.99. They're open for pre-order now with adaptive noise cancellation. That's all. That's also in the Focus. It's not in the Mystique, but it's in the other one. The Focus Pro has noise cancellation, and also the entry level line from Noble that I have here. This guy here. I don't remember what these are called anymore, but these were really cool. I like these. I use these for driving around, just everyday stuff, and I still love the Mystique. So I can't wait to hear this Triumph. I think it's going to be awesome. But nice to see that Sennheiser is still in the game though with this one, and they look pretty good. A couple of different color options. You know, they're a little more prosumer maybe, but I thought they sounded good. I thought the 3 sounded good. So nice to see it'd be interesting to see what they've changed with the 4s. I just literally called this up right now. I haven't investigated this at all, but I just triggered my mind when I saw the Noble thing. I thought, oh yeah, Sennheiser just did one too, but it doesn't look like these are XMEMs. It looks like these are a traditional driver. Yeah, here's the page. Some lossless stuff, improved Bluetooth, low latency. It's kind of the same shit, but interesting. Good to see Sennheiser in the game. Always good. Competition is good. And I think anybody would tell you that. So that's kind of what's going on here. I know I've got some stuff to unbox. Oh, the other thing was JH Audio. This was something that John tipped me off to. JH Audio filed for bankruptcy. I don't think they're going out of business. I did read one article on it a while back. This happened about a couple of weeks ago, I think. But they're going to keep building IEMs. They're not going away as a company. They're just restructuring their debt. But they said they were hit by COVID really tore into their business. Groups weren't going out on tour. They weren't ordering their custom, IEMs and stuff like that had been kind of a bread and butter business for them. A couple of things, changed that around, and people were staying at home. They weren't using in-ears as much. They were using, I guess they were using over-ears or whatever. Yeah, sorry to see that happen to JH Audio. I'm a fan of their stuff. I gave away that Jimmy. That was on the show. I thought that was a really nice sounding pair. And I've listened to a couple of their other creations, and I've always had respect for what they did over there. I never thought ill of them. But on to the unboxing, and then we'll get into the chat. Get your comments going down there. Ryan's in the house. Cheers, Ryan. I'll even raise a Grammy bottle to you, my friend. So I did make a purchase. Let's see if we can get this lined up. Oh, we got to zoom this in a bit. This is a little too wide. Yeah, I'm just still got some of my COVID paraphernalia, like Kleenexes and stuff. Nobody needs to see that shit. Let's go to the Sony overhead cam. There it is. So I placed an order with ZMF, and this was just I didn't actually do it through anything other than the website, but I wanted to get a couple of options of Caldera pads to try with the Caldera, which is, I don't believe I screwed that up, which is missing from the background right now. Those are sent away. More to come on that. So I just wanted to buy a couple of pads to check out with them to see what they did. So curiosity got to me, and I picked up a couple of Caldera pads. And these are the suede and the thick options. So I just placed the order on the website, and what came was this greeting card from Bevan. And she said, Michael, hope you're okay. It was really nice to meet you at CanJam. Keep killing it in the video work. They're doing well. We enjoy watching them from the team. Really fun. And then a little sticker of a dog waiting for the next episode. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a few minutes because COVID. And then they also sent me a sticker, which was kind of fun. But, that was really cool because I've been going back and forth with Zach. Zach was also on our latest Hangover Hangout. The next one will be in next month. It'll be in March. But once we get, probably the week after the Oscars, I'm thinking. I think I need to get through the Oscars before I do another one. And I've got a funeral coming up. Going back to Chicago on around the 1st of the month. Because I got my grandmother passed away, and so I've got to go. We're going to go have a funeral for her, little ceremony thing. Anyway, so I'll be in Chicago. Maybe I'll stop by and see him. That would be so wrong. Hey, Grandma, sorry, loved you, but I got to go see Zach at CMF. So let's take a look at these real quick, because I have not opened these. I've kept these around, and these are the, what are these called? These are the Caldera suede, and these are a suede material. And the reason I bought these was because on the atrium, it's a little dark. Can I help that at all? Let's lighten that up. Yeah, that looks better. Because on the atrium, I put the suede pads on, and I got a huge change in the atrium from the suede pads, and I thought, I wonder if I'd have similar magic if I did something with the suede pads from ZMF for the Caldera. And then the other thought I had was this pair here. I like thicker pads because they tend to bring out a little more bass, and I'm a bass fanatic, as you know. So I bought their thick Caldera pads just to see what they did. So I'm going to try these out when I get the Caldera back from their secret mission. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. I just thought I'd show these off because I just got them, and I like to show stuff off on the live streams, as it were. Put these back here for now, and then I'm going to dig into one other thing. Now, here's the thing with this package. This is from Audio 46, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I purchased what's in this package in a COVID haze, and it's something to do with IEMs. But for the life of me, I don't remember what I bought. And I thought it would actually be kind of fun because it's going to make me go, oh yeah, that's what I bought. But let's... this is only on this show. Only on this show, guys, would this happen. But I can't remember what the hell I bought. And I'm sure, it's, maybe I mentioned it last week, but I was so sick, I just don't remember. So let's see what I bought. Let's see what I bought. JTB in the house. JTB, it's been a minute. Guys, I'm going to read all your chats in a second, but I just saw JTB's name pop up, and I'm like, oh, JTB, my brother. I haven't seen JTB around here in a while on the live stream. So, and I'm on later, and that probably helped him somehow. That's what my mind says. So oh, I can't do that when I'm here. There we go. So let's see what I bought, because I really can't remember. What was I thinking? And I peeled the strip and it's not opening. All right, well, we're going to stab it. Sound effect added by me. All right, you ready? Because I'm not looking. I really want to know. All right, here we go. Let's see what I bought. Oh, I bought two things. And one of them is, an iFi Go Link. This was me trying to mess around. I bought the Quest style. We were talking about this last week. And I was thinking about doing some stuff. What happened was I've been, and for those of you who weren't around last week, I've been playing straight off my iPhone a little bit using Tidal. And I wanted to not use true wireless. I wanted to go to some of my wired options. And one of them was the Noble that's right here. Yes. This Noble, this is the K10L that John made for me. These wizard designs that are just beautiful. And they sound great too. And they're just balanced armature, which is great for the output of just an iPhone. But if I wanted to up the game a little bit, I wanted something that would be a dongle DAC, because what I have right now is this thing, which was just a generic Amazon purchase to come off of the USB-C connector of the new iPhone to 4.4. Well, both of these options are 4.4. No, this one's, I think, 3.5 only. But I liked it. Let's do the cheap one first. This was only like $50. I liked it because of the form factor. Look at this. You would never even know, and it's got, well, they give you a couple of adapters too, but you would never know, like you could just hook this in line quite easily. It's the same as this, but it's from iFi, so hopefully that means that the audio quality is going to be a little bit better. And it's got a full DAC right here in this little dongle right here. So it's a dongle DAC. It just comes together like this, and then you've got a 3.5 out. But there's no option for 4.4. So if I wanted to go down, I'd either have to change cables on the one, or go another route, or use an adapter to go down to 3.5. So this is the iFi audio one, and I'll do sound test of this, and I'll probably do it on the live stream or something. I don't know if I want to do a full episode on just a couple little dongle DACs. That's kind of overkill. I think you guys will get bored with that. But the other one was this Quest style, and this came from you guys. You guys told me, gave me the recommendation, said, hey, check out the Quest style. I was looking at some of the higher end options, but they didn't, and I know this will infuriate the masses, but they didn't do MQA decoding natively. And because I'm using Tidal, and Tidal has so much MQA material still on it, having an MQA decoder makes sense to me. May not to you, but to me it makes sense because everything that they're adding to Tidal still has MQA. So having an MQA decoder makes sense because I do so much Tidal listening. I listen to Tidal in the car. I listen to Tidal off the iPhone. I listen to Tidal through my player here, the Roon player, and then I decode everything with, you know, the big DAC back there. So let's take a look at this thing because this looked impressive in the... Ooh, they go for the naked look. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, I'm covering the lights. Sorry. Let's see. Can I get... There it is. Ooh, look at that. Is it getting it? No, not really. Sorry, guys. See, when you zoom in, you lose... it takes away some f-stops on your player. So, oh, there it is. You can kind of see it. Maybe it'll do it better. Oh, yeah, there we go. Do it flat. So look at this. You can see the whole circuit board and stuff in there. How cool is that? Damn. Well, what does it look like if I... Well, there's got to be... Wait, let's see if there's more in the package. Let's eclipse that. Don't look at that for a second, guys. Let's see what else is in here. Get a little instruction booklet. And then you get a registration card. And, oh, here you go. Here's the adapter. They got a couple of adapters. They've got a USB-A to USB-C, and then... the USB-C to USB-C. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to plug this in. Let's see if it lights up or something. It does something cool. Oh, let me back up. We'll back up. Other way. There we go. Let's see what happens. Does it turn on? Let's see if Tidal happens. Yeah, headphones, buddy. Tidal. Does it light up at all? Does it do anything? I was listening to some Dylan earlier in the car. Oh, I went to the doctor today, too. That was the other thing. That's why we're on late. Let's see. Does it light? Nothing. No lights. Well, isn't that a disappointment? Let's plug this in. Maybe it needs a... Does it need a headphone? Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Oh, I better turn the volume down, though. Yeah, headphones. Give me the headphones, boys. Well, that's big. That's damn bitchin' looking. Look at that. Well, all right, Questel. This is like $250, 200 something like that. Not like the most expensive thing in the world, but I thought it was cool. So now I'm gonna check out. We're gonna do a couple of little dongle tests and see how that does. But yeah, so you know your input meant your input led to a couple of purchases for me this week. I got the iFi, which got thrown away. This has, I know for a fact that this one has this little, there's an LED right here that will give you like some feedback as far as what the sample rate is and stuff. I was reading on that. But yeah, really cool. But this Questel's got me really interested because it is super light and small too. So adding a little bit, I mean, as opposed to just this, you know, you're stepping up in size a little bit, but you know, size matters, boys. So yeah, so we're playing the short game. We're playing in the IEM world, but it's also that I could enjoy. I wanted to better enjoy headphones like this K10L, and I have my timeless AE. That's another go-to, and then the big boys are where are they hanging out? Are they up here, or are they? They might be in another case. The Ragners, the Viking Ragners. I think I might have them in another case somewhere. Yeah. So I'm not sure where I put those. I think they're in a special case somewhere. Resting comfortably, I'm sure. Okay. Too much fun. Yeah, what did I do with my Ragners? Usually they're up here, but I must have put them like in my bag or something. So that's that. That's my unboxings for today. We did a couple of nice unboxings here, and it's only 5:30. Yeah, so I was at the doctor's office, and oh, by the way, I just saw this. There's more here. There's a low and high gain. Well, you know I'm going to keep it on low gain because we know what high gain does. high gain adds noise. It's just increasing sensitivity. It's not increasing power. But anyway, I had like 6 months ago, I went in to get like a general physical thing, and the doctor said, well, you've never had your skin checked, and you're outside a lot, so why don't you go get like a dermatology thing? And I said, sure, I don't care, whatever. It doesn't cost anything. It's part of the medical plan. So I went out, and they like stripped down, and they take a look, and she said, you have perfect skin. I said, thank you. So that was it. But it was 6 months ago I made the appointment, and that's how long the waiting list is for a general non-emergency appointment at the skin doctor. So, but she told me I had perfect skin. So I'm like, I got that going for me, which is nice. I don't have perfect hair, but I got perfect skin. Too much fun. All right, let's get to the chat here on a Wednesday afternoon and see how everybody's doing. Did you like the later start? Does the later start help you or hurt you, or don't you care? Let me know in the chat. But the reason I started late is because I had a 3:30 appointment, LA time, which meant a 5 o'clock start time for us. So what'd you think? Is this a better time or a worse time? Your vote matters. It's about the only place it will this year. Too funny, guys. Oh, I got a viewer system too. I forgot to set that up. All right, well, let's go through the chat a little bit, and then if we've got time left, I'll transfer the photos over. Damn, I try to be good about that and get those out the week I get them, but somebody sent me a couple of viewer system, their photos from their system. Yes, this is it. Look at some HiFiman gear. Hang on, I'm gonna do some transferring over to the laptop of death so we can take a look at this. Oh boy, my face is everywhere. MacBook Pro. Oh yeah. No, more please. MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro. Oh yeah, one more. MacBook Pro. Oh, he sent me a bunch. I didn't see all these. This is cool. All right. Oh, we got a full rack to look at. Oh, it's going to be good. Okay. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's go to the chat. Ace of Spades. Howdy. Howdy. Cheers, Ace of Spades. How you doing? Glad you're feeling better, says Dirk. Thank you, Dirk. Hipster cow, howdy, gentlemen. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, or felling better. Yeah, fell straight into the COVID pit. Ace of Spades says, got a new headphone this week. My Sphere 3.1, having good time so far. I haven't heard of that one. I've heard the name, but I haven't. I'm not familiar with it, like in practical terms, what it means. Neil Snyder loves his right hand. Okay, well. Cheers, Neil. Have at it. He must have a headphone in his right hand. What the hell's that? It's the wrong forum. He thought this is OnlyFans. My OnlyFans. He thinks, Hipster Cow says he thinks the creative of Orvana also came out with a true wireless called the Ace that has an XMEMS driver. Yeah, and I'm wondering how many people are going to have this plug-and-play type, their variety, just a different housing with the same driver in it. I did see that, and I was wondering how that was going to be implemented, but it's like it's a plug-and-play. They sell you on XMEMS. Let's see, do I have the XMEMS page up anywhere? Yeah, okay. And I think I know how to navigate this now. So let's go to, real quick. So these are the products. These are all the drivers that they make, okay? And one of these is straight plug and play. Like you just take the driver, jam it in a housing, and go. And that might It's one of these things. Anyway, I don't. I thought I remembered which one it was, but I can't remember now. Shoot. Maybe it's the Skyline. But anyway, so these are all the drivers you can buy from XMEMS. Some of them are in production, some of them aren't yet. But this is all their tech. These are all the XMEMS drivers. This is the one. This is the one that you can just plug and play because it's got the circuit board. That's what I remember. It's a two-way dynamic driver and a cowl tweeter. So anyway. That's the deal. So you can buy these different modules and you can pop them in. You can build on them in your. Oh, I'm not. You're not looking at this. You're looking at my hand. Wow. Wow. Director garage fail. Okay. So anyway, here are the 5. This is xmems.com. XMEMS makes a bunch of these drivers. Okay. This is what I get for taking my eyes off the chat. The Montera, the Cowl, the Montera Plus, Skyline, and Cypress. So you can, if you're designing IEMs and you want to build something with an XMEMS driver, you buy one of these modules, and they all have different properties and different qualities and different power requirements, all kinds of stuff. One of these, and I think it's the Cowl, is a plug-and-play version, and that's what John was talking about when he with the Falcon Max. It's straight plug and play. Now they're building a second true wireless out of one of these other ones and doing their own magic with it, adding their own circuitry, whatever, and they're building them in-house. It's not plug and play, so they have to power them and do all the things that they had to do with their first XMEMS IEM that was wired. Anyway, so that's that. So that's what's going on with these XMEMS. So I wonder when these guys are coming out with one, is this the plug and play? Because if it's the plug and play one, it will sound just like all of the other varietals. What you're paying for, presumably, is the driver plus the manufacturer's housing. And I got to think some of the China options will be pretty cheap on that because they do the mass production thing and get done with it. Audio Nirvana, Creative of Orvana came out with the Ace. Okay, so I don't know what it is. I'd have to look these up. There, you got to do your research on these to know what they are. JTB says condolences on my grandmother. She was 99, guys. She lived a full. I adored my grandmother. I respected her, all the things. But it was time. When you're 99, you're in those bad out years. Like, those last 5 years are not the best years of your life. Like, there are bodily functions and attitudes and forgetfulness and meanness and all sorts of things, bad things come out. We should knock those last 5 years can just go away. They're not good out years. I want to be long gone before we get to those. My personal thing. Hipster Cows I think you have to plug something in for them to light up. Yeah, we did that. Looks pretty cool, says JTB. One reason he likes the Geshelli stuff is because you can see everything inside the unit. Gives it a different visual vibe. Yeah, I mean, and I think this thing's pretty cool, and it's just sitting here humming away on my off my iPhone. I wish I could play the music for you guys, but, copyrights are a thing, and I'll get demonetized. But I think this is really neat. But I also like the slimmed-down nature of this Hi-Fi product, and I'll check all that out. I'll check it all out offline when I can actually, nobody wants to see me sit here and listen to music. It'd be kind of a boring live stream. Da, 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 da. I just turn up the house music from Epidemic Sound. Link in the description. Sound of Quest Style is impressive. Chance. I'll take your word for it. I'm going to check it out a little later today. Later start is better for us working class. Hard to get on at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard. Okay. Good to know. I think you're on the wrong camera. Thanks, Hipster Cow. Yeah. Oh, production fail 101. Director's Garage let you down. Anthony37 says, glad you're feeling better. Are you going to do a full review of the Zal HM1? Yes, that is coming. It's a few weeks away. But it's coming. Any chance you would use a tube preamp into the I'm assuming that's into the HM1. I don't know why I would do that. I could do it. I mean, I have the tube pre, the Macintosh here is a tube pre. I could do that. I don't know that I don't know that I need it. I think it's better the other way around. If you use the HM1 to pre like the Woo, that would be a good change. Somebody's been asking me to try that. That would be something I would be willing to try. But we'll see, maybe. I'm open to suggestions. I'll see what kind of time I have to get it done. Neil Snyder says he ordered the Burson Viger amp. I guess that's Voyager. Will provide feedback pre-order for the RAL, for the new RAL. Awesome, Neil. Congrats on that, man. Those are a couple big purchases there. Neil, are you married? Man, this audio stuff, it can harm a marriage in a hurry. JTB says, congrats on the headphone. What's the difference between the MySphere 3 and the 3.1? Easier to drive. Oh, I want to hear the answer to that. Excited to hear your thoughts on the Voyager. Yeah, absolutely. Report back here when you get that. Headfi thread is eerily quiet, so it makes him a bit nervous. The Bliss was gushing for a few months. The thread was the Bliss thread was gushing for a few months. Am I coming to CanJam NYC? That's a solid no. I don't even know when CanJam NYC is, but I've got the SAG Awards this weekend. Then I go to Chicago for my grandmother's service. And then I've got the Oscars, I think, are the week after that. So I know they're coming up. I know it's coming up, but it's probably going to be a no. They dropped that in the middle of award season here, and that is my bread and butter. They rely on me for a lot here. There you go. JTB says, Ace of Spades says JTB... Oh, Neil Snyder got a brand new HM1 for sale. You're selling it, Neil, or did you purchase it? Which is it? I'm curious. JTB says very similar design, but different tuning and impedance for the 3.1. Interesting. So they did a little revamp on the. That's really cool. We're talking about the MySphere 3.1. Very cool, man. That's a headphone I'm curious about. Very cool. Yes, to a beautiful man. Well, congrats, man. Cheers to that. Hopefully he's more easier going. Purchased and selling it. What didn't you like about the HM1? Interesting discussion. Because my head's still rolling over getting the third part of the DCS system, of the Lena system. I'm not totally sold on this HM1. What I like about it, and we'll get into it all in the review, but I do think that it's genuinely useful tone curves on it. I like the ability to go with Class A or Class A with feedback loop, and I like the AB part of it. I think that part of it's really cool. My complaint is that it is a little underpowered for what it is. I would hope that it had a little more oomph, to drive things. I've got to really up the input to get it to push my harder drive headphones. Not to say it can't push them, but I do miss that punch that I got out of the Enlium a little bit. But that said, it's made my easier to drive headphones. Headphones like the Atrium. So, I mean, it's audio heaven for the Atrium. If you like the Atrium sound, that is probably overkill for the Atrium, to be honest with you. But Oh, Neil went to the big dog. He ordered a Mass Kobo 465. The HM1 is neutral and transparent, but he needs more power. Yeah, that's exactly. But Neil, we're on the exact same page. The only page that we're not on is that the purchase of a Kobo 465 in the director's garage would translate to a divorce in the director's bedroom. You spent what on a what? I mean, I know I have a lot of, pardon me, that's so residual cold. The COVID's gone, but the cold remains. That's the, oh, I forgot to turn on my AC/DC sign. Well, I got it on the shirt today. You know, the sum of all the parts is quite expensive, but it's like I can buy this stuff used and in small bits and assemble something. And that's how I got to do it without raising the ire of Mrs. Director. Love you, babe. But she loves my passion for this stuff. She does appreciate it. I'm just surprised that she hasn't been more interested in hearing some of this stuff, because it is so incredible. I mean, I know I play in the deeper end of the pool, and there's a lot of guys who don't like that about this show, that it tends to move to the higher end, but I'm curious about that higher end. That's where my interest is. I do like to find a bargain, though, and that's, you know, I'm all for finding the bargain. You know, like Ryan's Mod House Tungsten, you know, where you can get that top tier sound for less. That's what we're going for. That's the Holy Grail. But so, but yeah, I do love that higher end stuff. But we bought the house, and the house took away from my enjoyment for the director's garage funds a little bit. All right, let's move out of the chat for. I had so much going on in my head. I just am being careful. But yes, Mrs. Director would have a cow. JTB says he hasn't seen many reviews on the Burson Voyager whatsoever. Hopefully it works out at that price. I would like them. I've been in touch with Burson in the past. I got to reach out to them, because I bet they would send me one to show off on the show at this point. And I'm a fan of Burson. I had a conductor or something earlier on, before the show. And I enjoyed it. I was impressed by the build quality, and I was impressed by the lengths to which they kept the power separated from the rest of the audio circuit. I thought it was really very well built and solid. Just like the Woo stuff, really like built. They build their shit. You know, there's some effort and engineering in there. Timothy, where are we at? Timothy says, interested to hear the impressions of the 465. Yeah, me too. Neil, start a show, quick. And then tell us all what you're going through. That's awesome. He won $760 million in the lottery, so he has some extra cash. Well, cheers. My lottery was finding Mrs. Director, because she's special. She's worth more than any lottery could ever bring. Anthony 37 says, Neil, he is interested in buying the HM1. JTB, awesome. Can you buy me one then? JTB. Neil, if you're not familiar, JTB has the best comebacks. That might be the comment of the day. Can you buy me one then? Chad says, starting a GoFundMe for a Mass Kobo for his little nephew needs desperately to be attached to Amazing Kobo. Please help. Timothy says, wondering if the GMF planer would still be worth getting after having the LCD4 and Sysfara. Am I drawing? What's the GMF planer? Am I drawing a blank here on something obvious? Guys, help me out. GMF. Good. I don't know what it means. I'm trying. Am I just in a haze here? What's GMF? Anyway, I'll get back to you. I haven't heard the GMF for sure. I would have commented on it. What am I missing? It seems like it's something obvious that I'm missing. You know, like Captain Obvious, but I'm not paying attention. Anyway, Burson Wood, contact Ryan at Burson. Yeah, I've been in contact with them off and on. There's a couple of guys, and it just comes down to finding the time to do it. I need to follow up on Music Tech, who does all the distribution for the U.S. distribution for Unique Melody. We had been in contact at CanJam, and I haven't had a chance to follow up, and he didn't follow up with me. And I know he had some stuff to send me for sure. There are a couple of vendors like that I meant, I gotta be more on it, and pulling those strings when I can. But you know, to be honest with you, I've been so bad at getting out shows anyway. Even if they sent me something, it would be sitting on a shelf for a month because I've got shows backed up here to do. The cold and the COVID really took me out. Timothy says, many MySphere sets available on AudioGone. Burson does some really good pre-order deals with their new unit. Yeah, I saw that. They were like knocking like $100 to $200 off of the amp or something, or throwing in a free power supply or some other crap like that. Really nice. Maybe you mean ZMF. Oh, the ZMF planer. If you have the if you still have the Susvara and you love the Susvara, but would love to hear it with a little more bass and a little easier to drive, then yes, the something like the Caldera makes sense. If you're looking for something that's Susvara-like with a lot of bass, then I would also check out the Mod House, which is, just an absolute steal at 1800 for how good that thing sounds. What I would say about the ZMF Caldera is that it has a shade less detail than the Susvara. I'm talking fractions, but much easier to drive. It's half the price. I'm like, it's really, to me, that was my favorite headphone of last year, and it might be my favorite overall headphone for that matter. Although, tastes shift, and I've been listening to a lot more of this Atrium and enjoying it a ton, especially since I found the right pads for it. That changed the game for the Atrium. I've never heard a pair of pads change a headphone so much. It took it way out of that mid-rangey kind of thing, and it brought in bass, and it just really cleaned up the entire presentation of the Atrium, going to the suede pad. Where am I at? Sorry, guys, spaced. LCD4. Well, the LCD4 is a different animal to me because there's so much bass. It does bass so well. I just had somebody had a comment about how much he loves his old OG LCD4 and what a shame it is they don't sell it anymore. They put the comment on in one of the groups on Facebook. Yeah, I still do Facebook. But I was reading it and I commented that I still think today that the LCD4 is one of the best bargains on the used market. Because you can pick those up for $2,000, just under $2,000, and have one hell of an experience. Yeah, they're not as fast as the Susvara, but the overall shape, as long as you don't mind the weight, the physical weight of the headphone, and a lot of people, it bothers them, the LCD4 is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. What a great, great headphone. Still to this day. And it's a shame that that Audeze, I think it's gonna be a long time before we see a high-end model out of Audeze again. That's my opinion. I don't have no inside knowledge of that. I would love to get somebody from Audeze on the Hangover Hangout and do just to be able to ask some questions about the company, where it is now, where it's heading. Is it true that is it true that that there's going to be a focus on that prosumer, on that consumer line, because they were bought by Sony. You know, it seems to me logical and understandable that they're going to be focused on that line, the gaming line, for the short term, and then maybe they'll get back into the higher end stuff down the road. But I think the short term, it's kind of going to be a lot of stuff that Sony wants, because they bought the company. What Sony wants, Sony gets. You know. Oh, Timothy Egan. Okay, no problem. Got it. I was like, what am I missing? GMF. What was I missing? Thoughts of the Aperio. Have not heard it. Neil, that was, I went in line. I was going to get in line for them at the last Can Jam, because they had the booth set up, the privacy booth thing, and the line was an hour long. And I'm like, I had too much to do, and I only had one day to devote to Can Jam because of other obligations I had. So I did not want to spend the time to get to listen to one headphone. I'd rather listen to 5 different things and meet a whole bunch of people. It's more of a social thing for me anyway at Can Jam. And then I try to shoot some B-roll of stuff that's really cool so I can show it off on the show. But the Imperial, that line is just too long. I'm like, I'm not willing to wait for it. The only reason I ever heard the Sennheiser HE-1 was because I got to Can Jam early, and I went up to the Sennheiser guys and said, "Has everybody canceled?" He said, "Yeah, come in. We'll get you in right now." And they let me sit down. This is before I even had the show, and they let me do the 4-song listening session on the HE-1, and it was amazing. It's amazing, it's phenomenal. Not $50,000 phenomenal, but phenomenal. Hipster Cow says he loves his LCD4, though he's searching for the best amplifier to pair them with. Yeah, I don't know that I have the best. I don't know if I have the answer to that either. I think the Woo does a really good job with them. The Zale's pretty good, but I don't know if I found the ultimate, like, oh, this is the one. But I use it with the Zale. The Zale's got no problem driving them very nicely. And then the Woo, you know, the Woo can push them fine. The Woo can push anything. That Woo tube amp can push anything. Just phenomenal. Neil says Passion for Sound will have a Voyager review out shortly. He thinks it's stellar. Passion for Sound. I don't know who that is, but I think it's a YouTuber. I know, but I can't remember. I have so little time to spend on YouTube and watching other guys' shows and stuff. But it'd be great. It's funny. It's like I just put out this show. I kind of stay in my bubble other than doing the live stream. There's no time, man. Time is the commodity in my life. Hipster Cow says he means Passion for Sound is in love with everything Burson. He practically works for them at this point. Is he the balder guy? I mean, I don't mean this for criticism, but just as a description, is he the balder Australian dude? I don't know. I can't remember. Timothy says he's blind. He doesn't know how to spell Caldera. JTB says Can Jam needs like 20 of those privacy booths. Yeah, I know. Then I could get in line with it. But it's, you know, it all comes from the manufacturer. They're the ones who bring it. So we got to talk to those guys. Neil says dinner at Can Jam SoCal is on him, along with Cameron Douglas and others. Cool. I usually, my Can Jam, at least last year, was I got there early. I like hit the things that I needed to hit. I met a few key people like Zach. I really needed to spend some time and talk with him. And I spent more time with Zach and Bevan than anybody at Can Jam. And that was important for my purposes with the show, because I'm really curious about what they're doing on that show, and I wanted to strengthen that relationship because you know, guys, I say this all the time. I'm a fanboy. Like, I'm a fanboy of this stuff. And I tend to gravitate towards the products that I get that really impress me. The guys who are building stuff, the Nobles and the ZMFs and the Ryans, and, you know, like, those are the guys that I, like, tend to gravitate towards and I want to, like, get to know and hang out with, because they kind of are, they approach the hobby in the same, with the same passion and verve that I have for it. I'm less interested in the business end of it. I'm less interested in the big vendors. It's partly why I like Audio 46 is it's a small shop. So it's a couple of people, you know, it's a couple folks, and they opened a brick and mortar in New York City, and it's been very casual. Like, our commitment to each other has been very responsible and very reliable, but it's all like the handshake kind of thing, you know, like, we've never put anything down in writing. I appreciate that they send me stuff, and I push them. There's Rodrigo. Rodrigo's from Audio 46. I appreciate it, but we never laid out any framework or anything for this, because there are a bunch of guys who really love the hobby there, and they sell stuff too. And I always had such a good relationship over there. That's why I tend to have, like, these little pockets of the business that I gravitate towards. I don't do the big things. Like, I don't have headphones.com. They've got their own thing going on, and they have a lot of different vendors there, and they're the big business end of it to me and in my brain. But I'm, like, just an enthusiast. Like, I'm a guy doing a show and I share it with you guys, and you guys share your experiences with me, and I'm like, the exchange is what it's about. So, you know, yeah, I guess, does that make sense? Am I making sense with what I'm saying? Yeah, but I'm a fan of, that's why I wanted to meet Zach and talk to Zach, because he started so small, and everything led to this, the Caldera and his first, you know, his really cool first all in-house amp. And, you know, he's somebody who's an enthusiast, and then that's why I try to spend time with those guys. You know what I mean? Forgive me for my ignorance. Chance D says, but can you explain what you mean when you say something is faster than another headphone? What I mean is it comes along with detail, and what I'm saying is the diaphragm, be it between two stators or between a set of magnets, is super responsive to the input signal. And it means that driver, and it usually comes down to, in many regards, and Ryan, you can help me out with this, the tightness, how tight the membrane is on the inside and how thin it is. With electrostats, you have an advantage because you've got an electrical charge that's moving that diaphragm to produce the sound. It's able to do it very, very quickly. So the speed of that headphone is very fast, and it translates to phenomenal detail and responsiveness to the input signal. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about a fast headphone versus a slow headphone. Dynamic drivers tend to be a slower headphone, but they can still impress you because they're smoother sounding. It's the difference. Some people say they're more musical, and that's maybe it's a euphemism or another way of saying they're a little slower. But there's nothing wrong with that, because the music has a warmth to it, and maybe a little more energy and a little more in the dynamic area. Usually a little more, they're a little more bass responsive a lot of the times too, because they can, they move more. They're moving more volume of air. So speed comes down to the amount of detail and how tight the membrane is and how fast that membrane can react to the input signal and produce more detail in the sound. Hope that makes sense. Ace Spades Passion for Sound, Aussie, and Sandu, Romanian. Both reviewed the Voyager. Lachlan. Okay. Ace of Spades, I'm going to take your word for it because I don't know any of these folks. PFS lives in, Passion for Sound lives in Australia, where Burson is from. Yeah, so he's the balder dude with the I've seen his face. He pops up in my feed, but I don't know if I've actually watched anything from him. But, yeah. Same city, actually, he thinks. Rodrigo's late. Cheers, Rodrigo. Cheers, brother. Having a CFA3 means you can pretty much drive anything. Yeah, that's a great amp. Great new amp from Head Amp. LCD4 is great driven off that monster. You fear no headphone. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. And that's... I wish Ken Workshop was here. Ken from Ken's Workshop was here. He knows a lot about that amp because it's sort of... I don't want to talk out of turn. I'm thinking of something, but I don't know if it's true, so I don't want to say it. JTB says, recently bought stuff from Geshelli, JM Audio, and Niche. Probably a tungsten coming in the future. Yeah, support for the little guys. I like the little guys. I mean, that's... And there's nothing wrong with the big guys. You know, I like the Sysvara. It was a long, long time before I found something that hooked up well with the Sysvara. And I still don't have the best hookup for the Sysvara, which is the Anlium 23R in here. I sent that away. I couldn't afford to keep it. But I loved what it did for the Sysvara. It changed the Sysvara tremendously. It gave it some dynamic and slam that I've not heard any other amp, period, do. And I've tried so many amps in here. Guys, you know. Timothy Egan, he meant to listen to it. He meant to listen to it at Can Jam, but never got around to it. Was a big fan of the Hollow Bliss and the WA23. At least he heard the AIC-10 and the 465, but he's a mere mortal. At least until he hears the AIC-10 and the 465 Mass Kobo. But he's a mere mortal. Yeah. my that's those are getting too far, too rich for my bank account. I'm going to need a 3-picture deal and some points on the back end to get that, to start diving into the Mascobo area. Chance loves talking to grassroots guys like Zach Ryan and trying to get to talk to the head of General Motors. I know. It's like, it's, you know, the smaller companies, like, guys actually care what you think and stuff. And Zach told me, he sent me an email after saying that, oh, by the way, update. I don't know what album it's on, but it changed colors. It's now like blue. It's like purple. Ooh, must be on something else. I got to read the documentation. RTFM and find out what it's doing. So cool. We'll do a few more, and then I'm going to show off the user system, and then we'll call it a day. NEZMF bouquet feedback. That's a headphone that I think that Zach is going to send to me at some point in the future. But you know, it's a good, it's an affordable, nice headphone. Certainly looks nice. I just haven't tried it. And I can't try everything. I just don't have the time. Ferrum in power amp mode for clean power plus preamping anything that you like. Ferrum in power amp mode, that's the switch off, the dial off, for clean power plus preamping anything that you like the sound of and wish you could drive the LCD4. Yeah, that's the Ferrum. I had no problem with the Ferrum driving the LCD4 at all. Purple is MQA. I'm right. MQA is dead my ass on title. So funny. I'm telling you. Like, I don't know what's going on. I just know, you know, it's like, I'm telling you, it's still alive. It's very alive. It's right there's the proof. the what did I say? The proof is in the purple, boys. Sorry. Maskobo is a budget headphone amp compared to the OJI. Don't even bring up the, you know, there's always a bigger fish. No matter how great you get, there's always the next thing. You know, there's always. That's why just buy what you like and enjoy it, man. And I don't even know that you get to a certain dollar amount, and I don't know that you're playing for better. I think you're playing for different. You know, is the Susvara better than the Caldera? No, it's different. Is the Susvara better than the Massdrop or than the I was saying Maskobo? Is the Susvara better than the Modhouse Tungsten? No, but it's different. They're different animals. They're different flavors. They do things a little bit differently. I think that the Susvara's niche is that it has that sound, that planar sound, and it's very, very detailed. But you can find, but they're also so hard to drive. You can find something for a lot less money, like the Caldera, that will give you a different flavor of the Susvara with an easier to drive headphone. And by the way, on the if you guys join the Patreon at all, and some of you have, I'll send you the entire thing with Zach, a link to it, the entire last Hangover Hangout, because Zach was saying he didn't actually set out when he built the Caldera. He told us in that interview, he didn't set out with the Caldera to beat the Susvara or to build a Susvara-like headphone. He set out to build his own version of a planar magnetic driver, and it turned out along the way that it happened to come out sounding a little like the Susvara. So that's where the, you know, but he said he actually told us he never set out to make that headphone. Whereas Ryan was, he said, I wanted to make it. It's like, I want to come after him and build like an affordable version of it. And he did, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Both approaches are good. Let's go to the viewer. Let's go to our viewer system of the day. And I've got to call up, look over here because it's got the stuff on it. This is from Jarek, viewer Jarek. And Jarek has, as I open up the photos, downloads. Where are they? Oh, Friday. Here we go. Is this it? No. Hang on 2 seconds, boys. Getting this set up. This is why I should try to do this before I go on the air. Open preview. There we go. Bingo. Okay. And we'll go full. No, let's go full. All right. So here's our viewer of the same. It's from viewer system of the day. It's from Jarek. And that's the Sony camera. We need to go to the MacBook Pro. There we go. This is just the headphone adapter from his HiFiman. He's got an HE6, guys. An HE6. Oh, it did the thing. Oh, there we go. There's the whole thing. And this is this is the stack that he sent me. He's got the HD-820 or HD-800S up top, I think. And then he's got a shit in the middle of some sort. Oh, he's got it in the list here. He wrote it to me. And then that's a Phonitor X on the bottom. Phonitor XE. He runs the Zen as well, into it as well. The Zen is in the middle. That's an iFi Zen in the middle instead of using Bluetooth. So let's see. This setup is the iFi Zen 1 signature DAC into the shit Valhalla 2. That's what that is. Tube amp. Or he will go into the SBL Phonitor XE at the bottom. He runs the Zen as well instead of using Bluetooth. Okay, so that's that. Now, this setup here, the DAC is on top. This is an LH Labs Pulse Blue Bluetooth aptX DAC. Say that 10 times fast. Into a refurbished NAD 3020 as a preamp. And then from there he goes down to the Marantz, which is a PM 8004 as an amp, into his HiFiman HE-6, into an HE-6 SEV2, which is what's pictured up here. Oh, that's the adapter. Okay, got it. I wasn't understanding. He also runs Audeze LCD 2.2 pre-phasers out of this setup. Very cool. And then what was the other thing? This was the HiFiman adapter, HE adapter. Close up on that. The speakers not shown are Monitor Audio 9Is. If he's running speakers, he can run the iFi Tube 2 as a tube buffer or a preamp. Doing so on headphones doesn't really seem to impact the sound much. And there you go. I'm missing one photo from this though. I'm missing this one, the back hookup. How do I get this? Let's get this over. Let's figure this out. Boys, one more photo coming. Stand by. Where's it go? Oh, because it's... we go here. Let's take this and drop it over to the MacBook Pro. Let's see. Let's quit out of this and let's go down here. This is one last photo. And there it is. Okay, so this is the back of the system. Pardon me. Very cool, though. Very cool. I love looking at this stuff. I don't know about you, but I think it's so cool. And I'm glad, I got to thank Jarek for sending in his system today. We saw some cool stuff. And that's what it's about. Awesome. I love this stack. The stack is my favorite, I think. This. Really nice. Got a nice little rack there going on. Very cool. Very nice setup. Very functional. So cool, man. Thank you, Jarek, for sending that in our way. All right, our time's running down. I'm going to go through the rest of the chat, and then I'm going to go cook dinner for Mrs. Director. All right. Where was I at on the chat? Okay, we've got... Hipster Cow says Ace of Spades, that's true, and his boss was telling him about how he was replacing his $27,000 Magnepans interconnects. CFA3 is a balanced Class A warm solid state amp that will put like 15 watts into 60 ohms. So lots of power. Plenty of power there. You can drive anything with that. That's awesome. Cheers, Timothy. Cheers to your... CFA3. I'd love to hear that sometime, but I have 0 ins at head amp. Although I did own their Blue Hawaii and I own their GSX Mark II. It's a really good solid state amp. The headphone hobby is like the guitar hobby. Even when you have great stuff already, you will always be curious about the latest, greatest thing. Headphones, gear, guitar, effects pedals, amps, all of it. You know it, man. And now, you know, we've got X-Mems coming out, as we saw earlier today. I'm like, they're going to start coming out, boys. They're going to be like, is this the latest, greatest thing? Is this just the latest, greatest hype thing? You know, who knows? But it's great to see. I love seeing the technology advance, and those IEMs are advancing way faster than the over-ears headphones. Have you ever heard of the Felix Audio Envy? Yes. $8,000 beautiful amp. I've not heard it, but I have heard of it. I have seen it in person. I don't think I plugged into it, though. Maybe I did. I don't think so, though. I would have remembered, I think. I have not heard the 23R, but read that it does 4 watts into 60 ohms plus variable gain. No, it actually does 25 watts. It's a crazy amount of power. It's not the cleanest power ever, but it's got a wall. It's got very nice sized capacitors inside so it keeps a lot of power on hand, and it provides the Susvara with a tremendous amount of dynamic slam. And I say that because I have the Bakoon, which is the predecessor to the 23R here. It's another 25 watt amp, and it's got a ton of power, but the difference is the slam that you get out of the Susvara with the Enlium is tremendous compared to the Bakoon. And I did a whole A/B comparison of that on one of the episodes, and it was so impressive to me that I actually wanted to buy the Enlium. How well that drove the Susvara. It didn't drive anything else particularly well. It drove other stuff, but it didn't drive it well. It's just, to me, though, the pairing with the Susvara is phenomenal. And Neil, you're saying it's 23 out of the speaker terminals. It's out of everything. The Enlium, I know this for a fact. The Enlium and the Bakoon are wired identically to their headphone outputs and their speaker outputs. It's all available. And then you can even gain up on that if you want, but the putting gain on it is a horrible idea. It takes a bad situation and makes it, in the noise department. It's not the cleanest amp to my ears I've ever heard, but upping the gain on that is a really bad idea, because it's on the edgy, grainy side to begin with. But there's so much slam that's coming out of that amp. It's a powerhouse of an amp. It's quite amazing. And Timius, you have a decent preamp and will have tremendous headroom, excellent weight and dynamic range. Yes, if you have a decent CFA3. Yeah, that's talking about the CFA3. Chance D, he thinks this hobby is like a golf guy shoots a record low 58s and laments that he could have shot a 56. That is an awesome statement. It is true. Looks like he swapped the tubes on the Valhalla JTB with the Eagle Eye. So awesome, man. I love looking at other guys' systems. I mean, it's like, it's just like so cool. I'm like, I will never, I don't care if it's low end, if it's like a $500 system, if it's a $50 system, or a $5,000 system, or a $50,000 system. I like it all. I just think it's so cool to see what other guys are into and what they're checking out and what's giving them joy. That's what this hobby's about. It's got to focus on the joy and the music more. That's what this channel's about. The Enlium is colored but amazingly wonderful. Yeah, I think it's and I think it is, and I think that was the problem, because like I put the Enlium into the Abyss 1266 TC, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Like, it really was a letdown to me, and I was shocked at how little I liked the pairing. I thought everything got thin and grating and mid-rangey, and I thought the Enlium was good with other headphones. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was phenomenal with the Susvara. It's the best amp I've heard the Susvara, well, at least. And then, I got to put everything with an asterisk too, because I'm driving it with 20 grand worth of source gear. I've got the DCS DAC here, and I've got the master clock with it. So I'm like, your results may vary if you're putting a different DAC with it. And, synergy is a thing in this hobby. It's a tremendous thing. And just because it sounds great with, one headphone sounds great with one lineup, you change out one component and you're going to get a different sound. Fortunately, DACs don't change the sound that much compared to changing headphones or changing amps, but it still does change it. It changes, there's something, you're changing the timing of stuff. And to me, the chord stuff tremendously, it's a little colder sound, but tremendously fast sounding DAC. Doesn't work with every headphone. Works great with the 1266 TC. So there's all these combinations that like change the equation a little bit. And That's part of the fun of it, is finding which one works for you. But I always say, you know, I have to put a little primer on statements like the 23R drove the Sesfara exceptionally well, like it was the best I've heard it. But asterisk, there's a DCS DAC and clock ahead of that in the chain. Change that out and you may get different results. I don't know. I haven't done it. So, and I don't have the ability to keep every DAC in the world here. As I sit there with the iFi that's 2 episodes away from getting a review. So there you go, guys. I'll read the last couple of these and then I got to get off the air. I got to go cook dinner. Emlium is colored but amazingly wonderful. Closing FYI, CMA 18 from Questyle is fabulous. And this is the, what did I get here? What Questyle did I buy? Rodrigo, are you still there? I bought the M50. Okay. Oh, it's too many numbers and letters and figuring out what they all are. Considering preamping the Ferrum with something other than the GSX Mini, but the two together are so clean and quiet, it's ridiculous. Actually getting quite greater note weight with his new DAC. And Timothy, the thing I say is, if it works for you, man, freaking fabulous. Go with it. If you're happy with it. JTB says synergy is huge and the quality of a recording is huge. Absolutely. And the version of the recording is huge. Because I tell you guys all the time, there's stuff on Tidal that I'll stream out, and it's not just the mastering job at Tidal. It's like, it's what version of the song they have there. And you got to go back and you got to find the right versions of these songs. And I'm telling you, like, if you go and listen to the most recent remastering of Pink Floyd Animals, don't do it. Go back a generation. Listen to the 2012 remastering, because it's a night and day difference, and it's better. They changed it for the worse with that remastering. They changed the pans. Stuff's got too much space between it. It feels the parts of the music feel too disconnected. They messed up that mix. I'll die on that hill. Don't die on many, but there you go. Absolutely. Tip your waiters and waitresses, aka thumbs up. Oh, I'm going to read the quote. This was the quote that I saved from last time. This was from Marshall McLuhan, who was a kind of a philosopher guy in the 1960s. And in 1962, before the Beatles, I'm wrapping up, every home, about 5 minutes. I know, I'm going to cook for you. I promised. Every home is going to have a computer, and you'll have access to all the films and all the entertainment and all the information that ever was. 1962, this guy wrote this. Every home is going to have a computer, and you'll have access to all the films and all the entertainment and all the information that ever was. That is crazy. I think I've seen that quote before, but it never landed on me the way it did recently, because I was considering, like, God, you can just go on Apple TV. Nope, I'm doing it. She's mad at me. She's mad at me, guys. I gotta go. Okay, here we go. Guys, thank you so much for... Thank you so much for joining our live stream today, and tip your waiters and waitresses out the door, and kick the thumbs up if you're into that thing, or do the other thing if you really hate this, and I can't blame you either way, because sometimes it's great, sometimes it's awful. And I will see you guys all before you know it. I hope I gave you a lot to think about this week, and listen to some good music while we're off, while we're in between sessions. All right, and I'll try and get a new episode out as soon as I can. Just dealing with the voice. Okay. Cheers, guys. I'll see you before you know it.